Aloha, my beautiful ones. My name is Krista Lakshmidetten, coming to you from beautiful Florida today. And I am a holistic wellness coach. I help people to heal and reset their body, mind, and spirit. And I also call myself an inner alchemist. And many of these videos, which I will share this year, will also actually dive deeper into the inner realm, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I will invite you along to those journeys. And the past 2 weeks, you have been following my beautiful awakening stories from all around the world. And I felt a really deep need to go and do one more video where I would go a little bit deeper, because those two were basically giving a very short overview how these things happened and what was the next step and so on. So now I go back and I will actually pull out those most influential spiritual sides and also kind of go a little bit deeper so you understand where I'm coming from. And this may also give you insights, like, how you are going to do things, and maybe also change your, life accordingly. So I hope it will inspire and motivate you, and also help you to get to know me a little better. So as I said, one of the first big teachers for me was actually nature. My dad really took me a lot to the nature, to the forest, to the riverside, to the ocean. And my grandmother was teaching me how to do gardening and stuff. So this was really interesting time to learn about the nature world, to do the observations, whether it was, picking mushrooms or picking hazelnuts or different herbs, or going fishing with my dad or sailing. All of these were actually also teaching me about the 4 elements. At the time, of course, I had no idea what was going on, but I was just so mesmerized by the world of nature, like how it was changing and how the seasons were changing and how it just repeated itself every year, a little bit of different. But it was my favorite place to escape, favorite place to recharge, and now also my favorite friend to go and visit every day if I can. So this is very influential because I just recently actually figured out that this was such a crucial part of, starting to understand energies and the world of spirit and all of that. And what nature as such taught me was basically how to really, sense the energies, how to read the energies, how to read the elements, and then also follow it accordingly. So also when, especially if you are, for example, you are fishing, so you have to do things certain way, and you also have to be there certain times. You also have to know about certain places. So there is a lot of different elements and circumstances which need to come together. I had no idea at that time that I'm also a very sensitive empath. And I think being in nature really taught me a lot about that as well, even though I didn't have like a human person teaching me that at the time. My dad just passed on everything he knew about the nature and what he loved to do there, and the same with grandmother. So I would invite you all to go back into your childhood and think of what and where were your first teachers. Maybe you didn't even think of that way, but that's, how we are developing and how our gifts and talents are also actually developed. So, and then in my journey, there are certain places which also played a crucial role on opening me up. And when I went to Norway, of course, the angels and angel therapy got so enticing and inviting for me. So that was a crucial game changer for me when I went to South Africa. So I already was kind of in this world. Then I became the certified angel therapist, and then communicating with angels, listening to what they had to say. And my life started to really turn into magic. So, having those quiet moments, listening. So many can say this is your intuition. So, but I could like make a difference whether it was my intuition or the angels. So I went all in. I bought all the books I could about the angels. I learned about all of the archangels, all of the other angels which I could come to. And I really became an expert about angels. So, and I did it really big. Like I did workshops, play shops. I did in Norway and Estonia. And it was really fun to see how we co-created and had fun with this. So if you don't know much about angels, so angels are basically here to mediate between God and us humans. And we can all tune ourselves in, just close your eyes and just start to, ask questions. And as you are asking questions, those different angels may appear with their messages. It takes a little bit of training, and you'll probably find millions of videos how to do that. And that was a very exciting time in my life. And angels, I believe, also guided me to my aura mediation work and aura transformation in Norway. And that was a major second, milestone, because what happened then was I started to read energies. I started to read auras as I was like developing my abilities. And it was really crazy because I didn't even know I could do those things. I remember some of my first clients came. I started to see these like weird pictures. There was this one client, and I could see this like a goldfish in a little bowl, and I had no idea what that meant. And then I had an urge to just share it with him. And he said, "This is so weird. My wife just, gifted me this goldfish in a bowl. And I feel like, she thinks I'm that, goldfish, and that goldfish actually died. So I feel like I'm so suffocated in this little bowl, kind of like that goldfish. So we were going deeper into his like heart issues and matters. And from that moment on, I knew that when I see something, I have to just like trust and ask about it. And then there is something relevant for that person for sure. And as I was like practicing more with this, it actually started to build up my muscles about like reading energies and reading people. So when I sat down and started the aura mediation process, then I started to really kind of open up all of my senses. So suddenly I could sense a smell, suddenly I could hear something, suddenly I could taste something. So all of the clear, sentient parts, like feeling, almost like touching things, all of these opened up almost at the same time. And this is also one of the things which may happen when you actually go through the aura upgrading or aura transformation, because your skills and abilities will open up, which have been maybe kind of hidden. And going deeper into this world of aura mediation, reading our auras, helping to cleanse auras and energies, and building up this new operating system and new aura system and structures was really like a boot camp for me. So I moved to Estonia to bring that to Estonia in 2007. And then I worked with this like almost like nothing else in my world until 2011. And about that time, I was actually pulled into a new system, which felt very enticing and very exciting. And I have a little bit of like shiny object syndrome. So I was like really like pulled into that. And that was a huge lesson. So I was supposed to learn those things. And I invested into that system for like 26,000 euros or something. And I was supposed to get that experience. So to understand that we as humans also can be sometimes used energetically. And then also understand that I have to unplug, divorce from that system, and build my energies up again and reset my system and completely root myself into my own energy and not run off to another shiny whatever. That's what I did. It took me almost 4 years to do that because that system was so crooked. It was making my energy leak. It made my life mission kind of disappear. Many bad things started to happen. And then the moment when I realized, that I basically had no money to even buy food, I understood something was really, really wrong. And I figured it out because by that time I could also like zoom out energetically and see like what was going on, what was done, and so on. And I was put energetically into a jar. The lid was put on it, and I was basically left to die. And this is when I needed to really take really immediate action and make changes and pull myself out from all of these systems and structures and really kind of made a total cleanse and reset and what the lesson it was. So sometimes we are pulled into these things so that we would learn and then hopefully be more smart and not repeat that mistake anymore. So that was a very crucial thing to learn and also learn about mind patterning and also energy loss and also how people can actually also, misuse our energies if we are not really paying attention. So a very good experience in the end, figuring it all out and also setting boundaries in the future as well. So that was also a very, very crucial moment. It took almost like 5 to 6 years of my life. And while this was all going on, many of my other things actually got on like a pause as well. So I lost a lot of time with many possible things, but it was meant to happen. I had to have that experience. And of course, because I had that experience in the future, I could avoid similar situations because then I already had the experience so that I could put a stop to something similar in the future. So now before I continue, I say one thing. So as I was going back from Norway, where I had been 7 years, and then I decided to move back to Estonia. Estonia is a very small country. If you know where Finland is, so you go down across the Gulf from Finland, and the first country down there is Estonia. So we were occupied by Russia for 50 years. So our collective consciousness was very, very suppressed for so many years. So that created collective, patterns and collective ways of behaving which still were with me, even if I had, been in South Africa and in Denmark and in Norway for many years. So it was still with me because it traveled with me, right? So I started to change it. I started to also understand those things. And one of the things what started to happen when I came back to Estonia, I came from Norway. I had accumulated all that earth energy living on top of mountains and like places where you have really like strong earth energy. And I came to Estonia, it almost felt like I was like skiing down or surfing down. Nothing could stop me. I was just like doing big things and so on. With that also, because I was so out there, so out of the collective consciousness. Collective consciousness has energies and kind of like little helpers who are then sent out to put you down, like literally. So I had many situations where, so I had one person who I met who basically, after some time, actually wrote a letter that this person would kill me. When I was showing it to the police, they didn't like believe it. They were like, we don't know if she's gonna do it, and nothing was done. So I worked with myself and protection, and luckily nothing happened. But many people have no idea that, once they start to do things on a bigger scale, there are collective energies which don't like it, because you are actually putting the collective patterns of behavior into danger. So, and then we were actually organized like a little round table, which I thought was like, to protect me with that person. But it was basically, it almost felt like a witch hunt where people came together and made like different claims why Crystal should need to stop doing or stop working with spiritual stuff. And we are living in this century now, and these kind of things are happening. Can you believe it? It was just like mind blowing to me. And many other like bad things started to happen. And I started to look deeper into like what's going on as I zoomed out energetically, started to like track where those things were coming from. And I had a situation where I almost literally died, because there was a group of people in one town of Estonia where I was supposed to actually go and do a big event, and they prevented it. So I actually ended up in a hospital. And if I hadn't gone, 4 hours later, I would have been dead. And today you wouldn't have been able to see this video. So, Spirit was so protective, was pushing me to go to the hospital. I went there and they said, "Oh my God, girl, what's going on? If you had gone like more hours, you would have been dead." So that went really well. So I was in the hospital. At the same time, my dad died. So because I was in the hospital, I couldn't go to see him in the hospital. So I lost the last chance to see him alive. So that was also very, very sad. And then I started to have clients who had started to go to people who were using different kind of substances, doing different rituals. I don't mention exactly what and how, because that's actually not important. But those people, some of them actually even showed up in my studio in Estonia. They were so scared for their life. We created like a special energy protection for them there. They kind of had like a refuge there a couple of days, and helped them to build up their, energy. And while I was working with those people, what started to happen was also I started to get really, really bad psychic attacks. Some of them were so bad, I didn't know anything else to do, that some of the nights I was actually sleeping under my bed because it felt like the most safest place, in my apartment. So people also have no idea, once you start to do this kind of work, also how the shadow work or the negative side also don't like you, especially if you are here to raise the consciousness and awareness and working from the light side. So that was like, something I had to go through, something I had to face. And then as, this Estonia chapter was coming to an end, also my work with aura mediation, which I wanted to take to the next level. People really liked it. I liked it to become an instructor. Didn't happen because I was just like pushed into doing something which I didn't feel comfortable with. And I'm very proud today that I didn't do it, that I was really standing my boundaries and feeling what was right to do, and didn't go against myself, even though it was very, very hard. And sometimes these things happen because we need to follow our spirit path. And once you have done your aura upgrading, your spirit knows what is good, what is not good, and what's the next step. So, and that change then brought me to, first I was also in London, that was a necessary transition thing. I learned quite a bit there as well. As I was staying in London, I actually did an experiment, a social experiment with myself, which was, meeting 100 men and doing different dates, and then figuring out like, okay, so who is the man I'm looking for? Who is my Mr. Right? So I'd probably, if there is enough interest, I can do another video about that, dating in London and dating like hardcore for like 4 or 5 years, generally like globally as well. So how that experience was and how that came to an end to meet my beautiful king in Mexico later. But so now, when I moved to Mexico, I went there then with a one-way ticket. So that was when my inner family already had like gone through the whole phase in Hawaii. So let's jump back to Hawaii also first. So Hawaii was very, very crucial. So my first trip to Hawaii was in 99. And then from there on, releasing my deep water fear, starting to work with water therapy, helping my clients as well, developing it into my own thing, starting to offer that in like luxury spas and places was just like mind blowing. And with that, also activating my inner woman archetype and as well my inner man archetype, because I was basically starting to channel them and work with them as I was in Hawaii, because Hawaii is the best place to activate your trust, activate your, inner emotions, your transparency, your emotional healing and reset and all of that. And it's the best place on this planet to reset your inner woman and inner man, and of course your inner child as well. So that was so crucial because the inner woman gave me many challenges like, hey, Crystal, now you go to Hawaii for like 3 months at a time. And it was really testing me like, are you following your gut? Are you following my guidance? And if not, so, what are the, consequences of that? So I followed and lots of magic came from it. I was a super manifester each time. I almost couldn't believe what was happening, how places were coming to me, how cars were manifesting, it was just like abundance after abundance. So later, when I talked to one of the astrologists, he was saying it was just aligned because, the stars and, everything was aligned. But I believe it was also very much because I was connected to my inner woman so deeply, and started to work with her, heal her, listen to her, pay attention to her in such a big way. And after that, also, starting to channel my inner man, who was really kind of concrete with like ideas and things, and the guidance came like about Mexico as well. I had no desire to go to Mexico, but then I was like pulled in there, and it was all because it was preparation to meet Michael some years later. And I trusted it. I knew that something great will happen here. And this can be also spiritual awakening. It's not just that, you come to these like crazy modules and things. Like it can be as simple as that, to listen to your intuition. So as I ended up in Mexico by this beautiful bay, I actually figured out the connection to my inner man and inner woman, and they were all guiding me. The first 30 days I was there, what to do, how to do, I was listening and I started to co-create, and my life continued with like a magic, like how these people from these luxury spas came to me, how we like, reset everything, how everything was like, done and redone like in a new way. It was just like mind blowing. It was just such a flow and such a trust, like every step of the way. And that was actually the time where I didn't have much money, but everything kind of worked out, and I always had enough to get through to the next, like, paycheck or like whatever I was doing, you know. So it also developed a very strong trust. So trust to the universe, trust to that my gifts can, you know, carry me to the next phase. And it took away more and more fear. So very, very important there. Another thing what happened in Mexico, which I don't think I mentioned in my other awakening videos, was I was invited to go to Al-Anon group meetings. If you don't know what this is, Al-Anon is for family members of alcoholics or drug or substance users. And you go to regular meetings and you start to work through your 12 steps. And I just kind of first thought, like, I don't need it because, like, for 20 some years, I've worked with myself so much. Like, come on, you know. But I just showed up out of curiosity. I dedicated for 6 times. After the 6 times, I continued to go weekly. And later, I had my sponsor and I worked through all the 12 steps. And that was the crucial set, like to reset and heal my emotional wounds so that I could also start to repatterning my social connection and relating with others. And as this was going on, Michael came to my life. So I think if I hadn't done that, that would have been so much like harder or maybe even impossible because my patterns, like on a deeper level, were still so much from that childhood, you know, disease, which alcoholism is. Like, even though I hadn't been drinking alcohol for over 20 years, nothing, then you have behavioral things which your parents give you. And if you're not really consciously releasing them, these behavioral patterns can still run your life, even when you are 50 or 60 years old, if you haven't done or worked through them consciously. So this way, that was also very, very crucial. And Mexico really helped to reset and start to work with my inner family archetypes. And it was just so powerful, like how magical my life became. So when my clients started to knock on my door, like, hey, can you help us? You know, how is this going? How are you doing this? I was like, okay, let's do it. And together we created the Inner Family Archetype program. So this is not the program from any academic studies or whatever, you know, Carl Gustav Jung said. This is based on my personal experiences, on my inner family guidance, as well every person who has done the program over the years. So it's very powerful, straight from life, really customized, and has given so many amazing results to so many people over the years. So, and then if you're like, Krista, I don't really understand this archetype thing, like, what is that? So let's say you have different like qualities inside of you, like you have the playfulness, you have the innovation, you want to, I don't know, do certain things in a playful way. So that's your inner child. So what you start to do, you start to personify these elements of your personality. Or then let's take, you know, intuition or flow or ease or being spontaneous or creative. That's your inner feminine. So then I personify this into my inner woman. And then let's take, you know, action and, doing stuff, structure, systems, scheduling, time management, money management, all of that. So I personified this into an inner man. So now I have like a little inner family. I meet with them regularly. I do stuff with them regularly. And we have so much fun. They give me instant feedback. They help me many times to change things and see things on a bigger scale. And they are my invisible helpers, my invisible family, a family who always loves me the way I am, even when I'm flawed, or even if I have extra, weight or whatever I'm not liking about myself. Even with my weaknesses, I'm loved unconditionally every day. They are there night and day. Doesn't matter where I am, what's going on. They are always there. And because of that, I even did that, ceremony of, helping my inner woman and inner man to marry, so that I feel that union, that I had that even before getting married to my king, Michael, so that whatever happens in the future, I always have my inner union, my inner marriage, and nothing can really divorce that. And then that confidence and that strength is one of the core strengths for me, to have that very strong relationship first with my inner selves. And as this is happy and in harmony, then I can have that also with everyone outside of me. So very simple, very important element there. And now, of course, when I communicate with people, I start to actually see also their inner families. I start to see who is stressed out, who needs extra attention. And then because I see these things, I can also communicate or relate to them accordingly. So if someone is super stressed, I can say, like, maybe you need some more time off, because that's probably what their inner woman is like saying, if I see their, calendar is a mess, like maybe you need to sit down and do a little planning meeting with, your masculine. So if they are open to it, I can also give that feedback. And if not, then, I just keep it to myself, but it helps me to relate to them in an easier way. And now also being married as a wife, I also see my husband's inner family. And we always also, even when we have like holidays and stuff, we always do gifts for all three, inner family members as well. And I see always, like, I try to figure out when is the right time to talk to him about something, because I'm listening and also getting the information from his inner woman. And then when the right time is there, then always it's the best to share something or like talk about it. And then also the same then with, the inner man or inner child. So I can this way relate to him in a new way. And because of that, also our relationship is much better, because now I know how I can also help him if he needs help with his inner family, or how he can help mine. And then we can have a blast all together as well, right? So I go to the beach, I want to fly my kite, and Michael just wants to do people watching. So we are all having fun being out there, right? So it's just all up to us, And so the last two things which I add, and then I just kind of wrap up with the spiritual stuff, which has kind of been underlying all of this. So my experience with the Wild Fit program, where I did it first like 3 times, and then I became a coach myself. I was guiding groups through this 2 years in a row. I didn't have almost a single day holiday in between. And then I burned myself totally through with this, and had to take a total break last year. And now I have also experienced that this program is really good, but it has also some things which it's missing. So as a holistic coach, I started to test it out with my clients, and now it's actually turning into my own wellness reset, which I will restructure this year. And by the end of this year, I think it's definitely going to be ready to present as my own thing, what I have experienced and discovered living this as a lifestyle for several years, and also working with my weight and, eating seasonally, all of these things to become friend with my body, even fall in love with it, even when it's still not perfect, the whole thing. And it was really amazing because it opened and changed and healed my body awareness and as well my body chemistry, because many of the things which were also stuck in my fat cells were there actually stuck for several decades. And once I started to flush these on a very deep level, it was just like unbelievable what stuff came up to the surface and how much emotional stuff got also released. And I didn't even know that it's possible for me also to let go so much like extra weight, you know. So that has been an amazing awakening on the body level. And also now, as I just finished my 10 days water day fast, I also am now resetting my body and also starting to do intuitive eating, which you actually can't do unless you have done, you know, something like Wild Fit first, lived it for a while. So your system is kind of used to this new kind of body chemistry, not eating much of processed food and refined sugars and all of those things, so that your body is like clean and activated, full of nutritious stuff. And then you actually can start to listen to your body, because then your body is clean and can communicate with you in a clean way as well. So that has been an amazing discovery for myself as well with my clients, because as I guide them through this, it's just also mind-blowing what's happening there. And then next was the mental fitness or positive intelligence experience, where I for years was looking for something which would like explain what the heck is going on with this saboteur stuff, you know. And then realizing, as we have, you know, inner archetypes, we also have inner saboteurs. So there are 10 saboteurs out there, and getting to know each one of them, which ones were on the first layers or levels for me, how they have changed over time, and then how I can actually change that, you know, pattern or patterning, how they have been communicating, because they were all actually captains in my inner world. So I was asking them to leave, and I built up a new dynamic, and then my inner sage could start to become my right hand with all of her five powers. And this is really, really powerful, because you learn also how to keep your mind and mental set on the positive side in your like mental world. And once I did it for myself, I had to then do several groups to guide them through, so that I could become a certified positive intelligence coach as well. And that's what I did. So last year was that coaching program, so I got that as well. And that was really amazing awakening, because now the mental capacity and the understanding how those mental, you know, layers or levels or, you know, patterns had been running me. And as we are born, each one of us, with those saboteurs. And saboteurs are put into motion in order to guarantee our emotional and physical well-being and survival. But when we become adults, no one is actually firing them. They just continue working every day. And then, of course, all of our environments, how we are, you know, raised, is influencing how those inner saboteurs are, you know, working or not working in our lives. So they can, yes, they can really help to create our lives, but they do it usually in a very hard and kind of rigid way. So there is a much easier way with your sage, and many people don't know about it, so they don't know how to do it. And now there is a way how you can learn also how to do it. So it's a really, really cool thing. And then as this got completed, I realized, wow, now if someone comes into my world and is like, hey, Crystal, I want to totally transform my body, mind, and spirit, So Spirit has guided me and given me the body part with that wellness program, has given me the spirit part with their inner family archetype part, and has given me the mind mental part as well. So a person could come in for a whole year. We can pick and choose which one would be the first and second and third. And between each program is 90 days. Between each program, there is one 30-day program where everyone can integrate that first month and then jump into the next program. And all of the programs are set up on our Kajabi platform. So you have the guidance there, and then people have also a possibility to have me as your guide on the side. So self-study plus prime coach on the side, and then take that year to build a completely new foundation for yourself and for your body, mind, and spirit, so that, as many have said, you may not need any psychotherapy or psychology or even hypnotherapy in the future, because you have all the tools how to handle, how to become the boss of your world. So all of these things and all of these experiences needed to happen to awaken me, so that I could help more people and understand also many of their issues or pain points. And so many times I have gone through something very difficult, and as I've gone to the other side, I actually get exactly similar client who is facing similar thing. So now I can share my experience or my story, but also that person will then have different energy and different guides, someone who has done it, someone who has got out of it. So they could use and try my techniques, or figure out their own, connecting with their beautiful, inner intuition and inner woman. So with all of this, also what was happening was, several years ago, I started to really play with numbers, and I started to see connections. And then now, working with the aura stuff, I started to also notice that these numbers were connected to the new time energy numbers, and also actually dimensions. So I started to create my own, what I call a new time numerology. So I started to see how numbers are talking to us. So even right now, your name has one frequency, your birth date has another frequency, your consonants in your name have one message, your vocals have another message. Together, they have another message. Your street name has a frequency. Your business name or where you work has a frequency. And when you put them all down into numbers, you will be amazed how many times the numbers actually are telling you the story and also guiding you to that right direction. And many times we oversee it because we're just like so busy with other things. And beginning of the year is a really cool time to dive deeper into numerology and kind of look also what is the number of the year saying and what's coming out there, and where to maybe focus more so that you can make that year really work for you. And as I started to work with angels, I started to also work with cards. So first I used angel cards, regular tarot cards, and this was a nice way to start to learn to interpret messages. So I would also recommend it to anyone who wants to really develop their psychic abilities, to start with cards, because you have a message, you have a symbol, you have a picture, you have colors, so you can really, start to like interpret that way. And now I brought the, reading of the cards back. I don't really need it. I see a person and I can start to just read, like close my eyes for a moment, get the overall picture and start to read like what's going on, where things are stuck or whatever. But many times people want the cards because it's an entertainment, it's like a confirmation, and I can use it just for that purpose or whatever works for that client as well. And just recently, this last year, I developed something called the mermaid divination. So as a human mermaid, I started to play with different, shells, and I started to throw them out, create a meaning to each shell, and started to see how they were actually falling on the table, which is also, I kind of like imagine that underneath it, we have abundance wheel, which is another thing what was part of my awakening story. Understanding when people came to me, many times the real problem, what they thought wasn't the real problem, there was something underlying. Like, let's say a woman came and wanted to have more money. Actually, the money wasn't the problem, the relationship with herself was, which was then stopping her intimacy, and then also health, and then the life mission, and then also the money. So it's all kind of interconnected. So now when a person comes, or we do the online version, I shake the shells, or the person shakes the shells and lets them fall onto the ground. And then the way they are falling tells the story, and then I'll start to interpret that, how these things are there. It's a very magical way of reading the energies, communicating with the invisible world and spirit. And what my experience has been this year, as many times I've done it, is that it's amazing how accurate it is. It's sometimes even more accurate than the cards would be, So that's really, really cool. So all of these things. So as you see, the diversity of my tools is so wide. So if a person comes to me, we can figure out a way how to work, what to do, and we can customize things. We can turn them into a month, a couple of months, 3 months programs, or do like regular calls, or set up meetings, or whatever works. So it's all possible. And as now we are all working online as well, it's just to figure out the time zone and, get working. So part of my angel therapy work was also actually doing journey work as well, past life regression. I've also started to do a little bit of Akashic record work as well, mediumship work. And these are new kind of muscles, which I'm now testing out and training a little bit. So all of these like different diverse like channels or ways to interpret information and get it down is also kind of all here, opening up. And I'm so excited where to take it, from here. So I hope that this deeper dive into those different elements now helped you also understand more where I come from, what are the tools, how I'm working, and then also how it really opened me inside out. And when I started this journey, I may have been very, very scared, how these things will go and so on. So now I'm just so excited, so curious, so like, what else am I going to discover now? So it's a never ending like journey to figure it out more. And I have to also mention that documentary I did in South Africa, because this was also one of the first times it was done this way in Tromsø University, that I went to South Africa, and it was basically like new age documentary following Angel House lady Daniela Lee, and then some of the clients there, and got like a story which was like phenomenal. So like the whole thing, the whole process was awakening and, witnessing this through a camera lens, and how when we captured it, how powerful it became. So like someone's story, how, she turned her life around, how, lies were turned into new opportunities, new transformations, even though she also lost quite a bit. It was just amazing and mind-blowing how this was actually like, happening. So that was also another huge awakening, working with a visual media and at the same time having this like spiritual experience, like even, you know, figuring out the little card reading we did in the documentary, how it became totally true for that particular person. It was just like mind-blowing. So this is also something I would like to do more of in the future. And it's been really amazing to have that experience and see also, you know, I made that movie, I took it to Norway, I took it to Estonia, that I could like share it. And it was just like very, very powerful experience. So yeah, so spirit has so many ways to come through, awaken us. We just need to be home, open the door. And I would really say, from my experience, find the teachers and guides and mentors for you who can help you to go step by step. Because in my life, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be such a powerful, you know, psychic and teacher and coach if I hadn't really gone through all of these lessons and all of these things with my many amazing teachers. So I'm so grateful to each one of them, even the ones which were very hard and difficult, because it had to happen. And I know that also you, when you are listening, find those who are resonating with you and who really are also honest, you know, calling you up and forward to face your fears and to face your, you know, whatever challenges, but also willing to go that extra mile to help you to build your dreams and your dream life on your terms. So let me know below this video what was the highlight of this video for you, what really resonated with you. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, put it also into the comments. And till the next video, I am excited to share with you next week actually a beautiful new time, you know, aura upgrading process. And this one will be a little different. You will get access to it when you join my Relationship Alchemy Facebook group. And this will be unlisted video, which I will post there. There will be a little presentation where I go through all of the new aura systems and structures, you know, indigo, crystal, golden, crystal golden, and then what are the next steps. You will see beautiful slides. You'll see what are the options to upgrade your aura, to really get upgraded to this new energy operating system and make a change in your life so that you can also, you know, feel more ease and start to live your dreams. So thank you so much. And if you know at least 5 people who would really benefit from this video, please share it with them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button, because it helps me to grow this business and grow this beautiful channel for you. Thank you so much. Lots of aloha, and till the next time. Bye.